In a world permeated with barbecue websites under the control of tyrannical administrators, there was one man. A one-man army. He broke all the rules. He allowed his members to speak out, give their opinions, and make the website what it is today. Get ready for Greg Rempe and the Barbecue Central Show.
Live from Cleveland, Ohio, it's the Barbecue Central Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, LA Talk Radio, in conjunction with the Barbecue Central Radio Networks, proudly present to the Barbecue Central Show. A very good Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to another edition here on LA Talk Radio. Thanks for joining me tonight. And as promised, Centralites, this is your show. I only have one interview slated. That'll be next segment at the 9:10-ish to 9:11-ish Eastern Standard Time time frame, running in 10 to 12-minute increment lengths. Other than that, it's all your show, Centralites. So step your game up. 216-220-0966 is the number to get in. Abbreviating the open altogether. If you want to jump in via email, banter back and forth about the telephone calls. If you don't want to call on the telephone and take part, you just want to put in the written word, more than happy to filter those in as well. bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. 216-220-0966 is the phone number to jump in. All right, so here's what's happening. Next segment, as I said, we will be reconnecting with Rob Bagby. He is the president of the Florida Barbecue Association. He is the pitmaster of Swamp Boys Barbecue Cooking Team. They are majoritarily, they cook in the majority of the Florida Barbecue Association contents, although Rob does venture into the Kansas City barbecue side of things as well. So we had a little trouble connecting last week, hooked him up for next segment on this show. And so right now, segment after that, wide open, your telephone calls. Here are the rules for calling in tonight. Have a take on barbecue or grilling, have a comment, have a thought, have a question you would like to ask me. I'm going to keep the show moving, so if I hang up on you, don't get pissed. It's not that I don't like you. It's like I'm trying to get as many callers up as possible because this is what you wanted to have for one show. If it works out well, perhaps this is a monthly thing that we can do where I will turn the show over to the callers. I have always been a believer that it's better for me to have content to talk about and have interviews. If I'm relying on the Centralites to pull me through a show, I get a little skittish. It's not that I don't trust you guys. It's just that I'm wondering if the majority of you can articulate more than one or two sentences at a time and get it out in a coherent fashion. So that's my challenge to you if you want to call in tonight. Talk articulately, talk coherently, string 2 or 3 sentences together in a row, and use the phone, 216-220-0966. Again, you can email as well, bbqcentralradio@gmail.com. The prize for tonight, typically we do the 4-segment free-for-all, but I will gauge what is the best call overall this evening, and that person will win, donated by Gas Watch, a Gas Watch liquid propane gas meter. This is something you would hook onto your gas grill. And it kind of bridges the tank and the whatever the hose deal. It's a technical term, I know. And basically, through the pressure, it tells you how much gas you have left. So there's a big green section to let you know you're A-OK. You have the yellow that's kind of like, you're kind of running out. Then there's the refill section. So this will definitely pinpoint your need to refill or not refill, as the case may be. That's a $20 retail value donated by Gas Watch here to the Barbecue Central Show. Winner of the best call gets the Gas Watch free of charge and shipping at my expense. So what do you think about that? Yeah. Boning out the $5. All right, so let's review what's happening in the Kansas City Barbecue Society. Results as of this past weekend. QOW, of course, no surprise, continuing to dominate the overall standings with what is tantamount to a fairly large lead, now right around 500-plus points over Mike Davis's Lotta Bull barbecue competition cooking team that they are in second place. We have the Wild Bunch Butt Runner steadily making the climb up, now third. Four Legs Up Barbecue, aptly placed in the fourth position. Rod Gray's Pellet Envy still in fifth. Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton, that's Robert. He was Team of the Year last year. He is slotted in sixth. Four Men and a Pig, seventh. Florida Skin and Bones, that's the first time I'm recalling them in the top 10 right now. Jiggy Piggy, I believe, up from 10th to 9th this week. LearnToQ.com, rounding out top 10 in the Kansas City Barbecue Society. Again, those stats provided by The Pickled Pig. You can find out more about Paul Ostrom's site. He has a competition cooking team as well. PickledPig.com is the place to go for that, and I thank Paul for giving me that Barbecue Central Kansas City Barbecue Society Team of the Year dashboard that he so graciously made up for me. So don't forget, best call tonight, getting the Gas Watch liquid propane gas meter thingy, $20 retail for free if you have a great call. You know, something has been going on in the news. I don't know if you've heard about it. This thing called swine flu. The swine flu? Yeah, I have a few thoughts on that. Could that have been any bigger of a joke? The swine flu? I mean, it's still going around. This is a pandemic. And for those that don't know, epidemic is like a more localized outburst of a virus. And the pandemic means it's in multiple places. Here we have some cases here in Ohio. I'm sure you've had it in every state. Well, hell, every state in the country has it. It's just called the flu. Swine flu. M1H1N1. You know what?
Get that big stuff out of here.
Give me a break. I mean, there couldn't be any bigger of a rush to nothing as the swine flu has been over the last few weeks. Talk about getting people in a lather. And I'm not talking about horse racing. That just reminded me. I apologize. I fielded a number of emails from people wondering where Harry DeHorse was last show for a preamp, a ramp up to the Kentucky Derby, the first in the 3 jewels that is known as the Triple Crown. And quite frankly, that was my bad right there. For some reason, I didn't think about it, and I firmly apologize. But by the way, taking landline calls and Skype calls if you have Skype. I traditionally don't say Skype calls unless you have it, you know about it. You can Skype in as well. But nevertheless, so I apologize. But I am going to make up for it because I know some of you like to get down on the ponies as well as I do. And every year at this time, there's always renewed hope for the Triple Crown winner. And I will have. I've called, I've booked Harry DeHorse, potentially even, live in studio next week to talk about the upcoming Preakness. That's right, the Preakness. We could have Harry DeHorse live in studio right here, Cleveland, Ohio. Plus, as a guarantee, my mom will be doing a segment live from the Palatial Barbecue Central Studios next Tuesday. Air Boss sitting in as well, and could be Harry DeHorse. And we'll see if we can get him live in studio. Could be a telephone call. Could be that we have him in studio. So, take that for what it's worth. We'll see what happens with that. First segment down, no callers in, just as I suspected, leaving me to bring you show content, which I am happy to do, because as one of my favorite sports talk show hosts says, the more of me, the less of you, the better. Thus proven the first round, I am right. Currently, you are wrong, Centralites, and you're going to have to hold off until the third segment because we're going to be having Rob Bagby coming up next. Stick around. We'll be right back. Don't forget your chance to win a gas gauge, the Gas Watch gas gauge for the best call. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio.
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker, Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tall Boy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at TheBarbecueGuru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Forget going from site to site to get all your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber as well as a full lineup of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. You can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichland of Barbecue U fame. Check Fred out on the web at fredsmusicandbbq.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio.
All right, welcome back. Barbecue Central Show. I am your host, Greg Rempe. This portion of the show brought to you by D-Dog's Barbecue Rub. Do you make bad barbecue? Come on, admit it. Your barbecue doesn't taste as good as you want it to, but making great barbecue is easy with D-Dog's Barbecue Rub and Sauces. With all natural ingredients, D-Dog's barbecue products will make your barbecue taste great. Have all your friends and family begging for more. Order some today at ddogsbbq.com. Also, coming very soon. Really, he means it this time. D-Dog's Peach Barbecue Rub. Check ddogsbbq.com for updates. Great stuff, great rub, great sauces. Stick around for that. As promised, a re-hookup from last week. It is the president of the Florida Barbecue Association and the pitmaster for Swamp Boys Barbecue Competition Cooking Team. It is Rob Bagby. Rob, thanks for coming on the show tonight. How are you?
Sorry, Rob's not here, man. How you doing, Greg?
Good, Rob. Thanks for coming on tonight. I certainly appreciate it. A lot of places that we can start, so let's go ahead first and say that it's lucky that we did miss last week because you went from second overall to first overall in the Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year standings, so that's good.
Yeah.
However, the detractor to that is last week in the KCBS you were 52nd overall, but you've tumbled back to 69, but of course that's probably because you're not doing many KCBS. So you make up for one, you're falling back in the other. Nevertheless, let's cover the FBA first in your presidential cap. First of all, as a whole, how is the FBA doing? How are you finding your newfound presidency? And did Kevin leave it in a good enough position for you to kind of take the reins and move forward?
Well, yes, he did. I'm sorry, I'm hearing myself echo there. Yeah, we're in real good shape. We've been growing very steadily since the beginning, I believe, and we're in the middle of some really strong growth right now. We're well up over 600 members, which is our highest by far. Very strong in our rep department. We're starting to try to implement a few things that thank our judges and let them know how much they're respected and appreciated. We have more and more cook teams coming out. Even though there's the bad economic times, we're still seeing pretty strong contest numbers. I think we're doing really well right now, actually.
Now, when you take over as Florida Barbecue Association president, of course, I'm sure you have ideas on things that you would like to see improved. What are a few of the main items that you would like to implement, get addressed during your term as president?
Well, we were real strong coming in. I was part of the board for several years before I was president.
Right.
So I was real happy with the way things were going then, and we're mostly doing a continuation. We've tweaked the Triple Crown Invitational Series, and we've really increased the prize money for that through the work of the board. Let's see, we're working on implementing a Judge of the Year program, which it's a challenge, but it's coming along. It's going to need some fixing along the way, and we're always listening for more input from our members for that. But we're making a good effort. What else are we doing? I think those are probably the two main things. We're working on our how we award the FBA state championships to each individual state that we're in. We do, lots of small things going on, but add them all together, and it just helps create a stronger, more solid association.
We're talking with Rob Bagby. He's president of the Florida Barbecue Association, also pitmaster of Swamp Boys Barbecue Competition Cooking Team. Also, I'd read that the Florida Barbecue Association has instituted a new scoring system. How does that kind of differ with the old one, and how is it being received by membership?
What exactly are you referring to there?
I had read on the website that there was some type of tweak or an adjustment made to the scoring system that you guys had been using.
Oh, heck, I don't know. So many small little changes.
Well, typically scoring is pretty major. I know the Kansas City Barbecue Society had done some adjusting to their scoring system at the end of last year. So if it's nothing of huge merit, then we'll just go ahead and skip over that. So
no, all of our percentages are the same. Everything's weighted the same. There's so many different things going on, but I can't remember them all. But I'm sure it's just a minor thing.
Have you guys actually added more competitions this year versus last year?
Our total overall numbers, I'm not sure, but I know we have taken in several more contests. We have, I don't know, an average, but probably at least 2, if not 3, new contests every 4 to 6 weeks that are, organizations coming to us asking to be sanctioned. And, they're all over the place, and we're really enjoying that.
Rob Bagby of the Florida Barbecue Association and Swamp Boys Barbecue Team. So we'll kind of transition over now to the competition side. Like the president before you compete in both KCBS when you have a chance, obviously very heavily in the Florida Barbecue Association, as I had mentioned, first overall currently for Team of the Year. Partisan lines aside, what do you like best about the Florida Barbecue Association, the KCBS, and on the other side of the coin, what do you like least about both of them?
I cook alone the majority of the time, except when we're vending, and I really appreciate the hour between turn-ins in the FBA. I really appreciate the fact that there is no garnish to deal with. It's not allowed. That's when you get beyond that, there's a lot of similarities to the two. KCBS, even though I just said that I like the hour between turn-ins, I got to tell you, every once in a while when you get into a KCBS contest and those half-hour turn-ins are cranking out, it is kind of a charge to, going from the hour, which you're used to with an hour, to doing it in a half hour. I like another thing about KCBS, I get to see more teams that I don't see regularly. There's some of the out-of-state teams will travel down, working towards KCBS Team of the Year points. So we do get to see some of our northern friends there. Beyond that, though, I just like barbecue contests. I think it's a blast.
So, as somebody that competes in both, and, certainly you're no stranger to winning on either side of the sanctioning body fence, is it hard to be, the man for the Florida Barbecue Association, but then also be the head chef, the pitmaster of Swamp Boys all at the same time?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, there's a lot of demands put on your time. Lots of people want to, it can be anything from just coming up and saying hi and shooting the breeze for a few minutes to coming over and airing out a complaint or whatever. And I've just kind of gotten to the point to where I do all that I can, but then when it comes down to if it's going to affect my cooking and my performance of that barbecue contest, you can ask the regulars in the FBA or KCBS that I see. The sides to my trailer goes down, and I'm pretty much out of circulation while I'm busy. So I don't do it to be rude, but I'm there to compete and do the best I can, and I love talking to people. But when it comes time to do the barbecue, I got to do it.
Now, you had kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier in regards to the amount of newer competitions that you're seeing. Now, I mean, of course, everybody talks about how the economy is down, but, compared to not exactly this point last year, but especially probably moving into the summer, I mean, fuel prices were completely ridiculous last year. A lot of people were pairing out what they were doing, or they were looking at what competitions they had slated and were readjusting the ones that were farther away. Fuel prices having recovered, do you see a boost in the amount of entries or commitments that you're getting down the road for future events?
I can't tell yet. We don't see exactly who's entering what contest, pretty much until we're there. The reps are privy to that information. But, I think it is going to open up more than it was last year. I know I'm going to be able to do a little bit more. We've got some North Florida and South Alabama and Georgia teams that are regularly making the trips down here this way this year, where last year they weren't. Just because, like you said, fuel is double what it is now. So that has definitely helped open it up some. That was a pretty major cost. I think the organizers are realizing that things are expensive, and they're trying to make their contests more financially easy to get into. So I think everybody's working together, and we're staying pretty strong.
Rob Bagby, Florida Barbecue Association president and the pitmaster of Swamp Boys barbecue team. Rob, go ahead and give us the website addresses for both the FBA and your competition team site.
The FBA is www.flbbq.org. Swamp Boys is www.swampboys.com.
Rob, always appreciate you taking time out. Glad we could catch up on the FBA and talk about a little competition, too. Continued success in both arenas, and we'll have you on again soon.
Thanks very much, Greg. I appreciate it.
All right, Rob, take care. That's Rob Bagby, Florida Barbecue Association president, pitmaster of the Swamp Boys barbecue cooking team. In case you need him, first overall FBA. It seems to be kind of like a recurring thing. You'll have noticed that prior president Kevin Bevington of HomeBBQ.com, which I believe is currently 6th in Team of the Year standings, he was Team of the Year for 5 years, 2 of which I believe he was president, the last 2. So I believe being president and doing well in Team of the Year, maybe not correlated, but maybe. You never know. All right, we're wide open for the rest of the show. Your calls, your emails, your chance to win a Gas Watch gas meter, all coming up. Stand by. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Forget going from site to site to get all your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber as well as a full lineup of charcoal grills. And one Once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. You can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichland of Barbecue U fame. Check Fred out on the web at fredsmusicandbbq.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Barbecue has never been easier with the Barbecue Guru. The Barbecue Guru is a temperature control and monitor for all pits, charcoal, wood, electric, your pit. It easily attaches to any smoker or pit and gives you simple, trouble-free control of your temperatures so you can make championship quality barbecue every time and all the time. And it's location-free. Take it anywhere. This amazing breakthrough in barbecue technology is a microprocessor-controlled draft system that uses temperature monitors and a small fan to keep your temperatures constant. The stainless steel Guru Pit Minder gives you a choice of controls from 90 to 370 degrees. So cold smoking, pepper drying, making cheese or jerky, or fabulous briskets and ribs is nothing short of effortless. The ProCom 4 lets you monitor your pit from up to 600 feet away. And there's more. Check out the full line of products and accessories for the future of barbecue with new items on the way. Visit thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show on LA Talk Radio.
All right, welcome back. Barbecue Central Show here on LA Talk Radio. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Thanks to Rob Bagby for joining me last segment, talking about the FBA and Swamp Boys barbecue competition cooking team. This segment of the Barbecue Central Show brought to you by the good folks at the Barbecue Guru, makers of the CyberQ. That's brand new, by the way. DigiQ2 and the ProCom 4 wireless. They're all automatic pit temperature control devices that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Also make a host of other great products like the Caldera smokers, some other cool accessories like the Holy Smoke meat mats. They have that club fire starter thing, propane deal. Lots of great stuff. The 3-bay caterer. It's charcoal or sterno driven. It's wonderful. It's thebbqguru.com or 1-800-288-GURU. That's the good folks at the Barbecue Guru. All right, so I turn to the phones. What's that I see? Zero calls on hold right now. Did I place too many stipulations on you? My apologies. All right, so now I have to retreat back some of the other items that I was going to be talking about. Next week, by the way, I know I had been doing a little bit of a review on the Bubba Keg. That was a cooker that was graciously awarded to me for trial by a company called InZone. They are down in, it's like Symetra, Georgia. Again, I know I said this last week, but it's very, I find it very fascinating that anybody that makes a Kamado-shaped or style cooker seems to be in that very specific region of the country, whether it be ceramic or steel, as the Bubba Keg is. But I'm going to be having the product manager of the Bubba Keg, Drew Keenan, on to talk about my experience with it so far. I've done a number of cooks on it, and I'm excited to continue to cook on it, and I'll be a little bit more well-versed to talk to him and get his thoughts when we meet next week. So without anything else being said, we'll go to the phones and take the first phone call for this evening for the Central Lights call-in show at area code 713. Go ahead, name and where you're calling from.
Yes, Ron from Texas. And I just tuned in, so I'm not sure you talked about this, but how'd your cooking go on the Bubba Keg?
Yeah, I think now I have 5 cooks underneath my belt, and the one thing that I have found is the higher temperatures is no problem for this thing. Probably would hold true for even the ceramic style like Kamado type cookers. But I did try to keep it within the low and slow barbecue range over the weekend, and it was very difficult even to get it to 250. So, my thoughts are, if there was maybe some type of diffuser or, a water pan or something like some of the other cookers have to help keep the low heat. I think this thing is more or less built for, I know the Big Green Eggs and the Primos, a lot of people compete with those. But to this point, I really haven't been able to master the low and slow cooking. Have you had any experience with these type of cookers before?
No, but I cook at 275 even on the pits that I'm using, which are homemade, like with WSMs and things like that. Mm-hmm. So 275 is where I try to hold my temperatures on almost all the meats except chicken, which I do hotter.
Yeah, I had shut it down at 200 degrees to, just a sliver open at the top and just a sliver open at the bottom, and it was pretty much rock solid at 250. And then I made just the very smallest adjustments to the vent at the top, and it went from 250 to 350 degrees inside of 10 minutes. So certainly very responsive to any change made. So over the weekend I'll mess around with it again. I didn't cook anything. I was just trying to maintain a temperature for an extended period of time. But then I actually grilled on it later in the evening, and I opened it wide open, and that thing has no problem breezing to 750-plus degrees inside of 15 minutes. And it's just as fast. I mean, when you start it up to grill on it, a straight grill, it's just as quick as a propane tank, believe it or not.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. A lot less fragile, definitely, than green egg, and the weight, the difference, it should be a big mover, I would think, if it will cook at the 225, which I guess a majority of people try and stay at.
Yeah, I think, 250 for me is okay. I don't have any problem with that. It doesn't have to be a 225. But, I would rather not have it be any higher than that unless it was something that I was specifically looking to cook at a hotter temperature. But, 250 shouldn't be any problem. I don't know how you could really get it lower than that before you really don't have any opening at the top or the bottom, but I'll be able to talk to Drew about that next week anyway. We'll have him on. He's the product manager for Bubba Keg, and he'll be able to maybe shed a little bit more in-depth insight for me.
Well, you're using lump charcoal, right?
Yes, lump charcoal.
Just wondering if briquettes would be a little better since they seem to burn a little cooler. Not much, but I don't know. It sounds like it's a very fine adjustment that you're working with anyway. Yeah,
very tight tolerances. And as I said, they seem to be so responsive to just the minimal amount of adjustments, whether it be through the top or the bottom. And I didn't dare adjust the bottom just because I figured it would start sucking air in like nobody's business. So, I appreciate you calling in tonight, Ron. We're going to go grab another call real quick. So thanks for calling in. You certainly have a chance to win the gas gauge. We'll go to area code 360, name and where you're calling from.
Good evening, Greg.
This is Bob.
This is Bob. Bob from Gold Bar, Washington.
Bob from Gold Bar, Washington. Faithful Centralite.
Yes,
what's up, Bob? How are you tonight?
Hey, good. I just I like you doing the call-in show. I know you put out in your newsletter this morning. You're not all hot on them, but let's see what happens.
No doubt.
Well, I enjoyed listening to Rob, of course. I think that the Florida Barbecue Association, they've got some good things going. And PNWBA, that's what I'm in, Pacific Northwest Barbecue Association. We're also a one-hour turn-in. And I'll tell you what, I've done a couple KCBS cooks. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of those events in the Northwest. I think we have 3 KCBSs this year. And he's right. Well, you get hopping when you've got half an hour turn-ins and you're used to 1 hour. So sweat starts rolling off your forehead.
I don't know how the guys that are just single pit masters are able to make those turn-ins all by themselves. That's very difficult.
It's tough. It sure is nice to have a runner. There's no doubt about that. I like to cook alone, too. I do. I have a friend that comes along once in a while and helps me, and will run the boxes for me and that. And can do some prep work. But I don't know. I think a lot of the teams out there that do halfway well and not necessarily true. I don't know if I'm stereotyping, but I think a lot of the teams that are husband and wives and one person teams, they seem to excel a lot.
Yeah, I think there's been plenty of Team of the Years that have been as you said, husband and wife teams where probably the husband is more of the pit master, and then the lady friend is either in charge of the greens, making sure the box presentation is pretty for judges' appealing eyes, and then taking it down to the tent for judging. So, but many of the top teams that have been here over the last 5-10 years are either guys that are working alone, or they just have a helper more or less, not a co-pit chief.
I agree. It's hard when I get together with a group of friends, which I always enjoy my friends. We have a hard time deciding where to go to dinner, let alone a competition cook.
Right.
Hey, I got picked up some D-Dogs a couple of weeks. Good stuff. I'm liking that D-Dogs. I used it the other day in a competition on some sausage. I used the maple, and it didn't. My sausage isn't that great. That's an area I certainly need to work on. We just had the extra category with sausage. It was a light cook, so they throw sausage in out here on a light cook, usually a sausage and a tri-tip on a light cook, and then we had ribs and chicken. Did first place in the ribs, which I was happy for that, and
nice.
Second in the chicken, and I was happy with that. So third overall.
There you go. Can't beat that.
First cook.
Yeah.
First cook of the year, starting our 4th season. So
good warm up.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a good warm. They actually call it spring training. So, yeah, it was a good one. Then, I had my first cook also. You ever cooked on a ranch?
Never.
Yeah, I tell you what, I picked one up not long ago. A business close to us going out of business, and got a nice buy on it. So I grabbed it. But I decided to do 4 butts for the volunteer fire department training day a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't find anything. The internet, I can find so much on there. There's so much to be gleaned on any subject, but I'll tell you what, that's probably the fewest topics that I could find I ever found on there was a Weber Ranch kettle and how to cook them and adjust them and how to do low and slow on them. I've heard people, smoke their salmon on them, so I know they'll do low and slow. But
yep, I know Stephen Reichlin uses them a lot. The one chef that I had on 2 weeks ago, Chris Slasinger, that's his favorite piece of barbecue equipment is a ranch kettle, and he says it's just so much space, a lot of versatility. You can cook hot on one side, you can cook indirect on another side, you can do something else on a whole different side. So I don't think a lot of people have them. Obviously, they're very expensive if you're just going to buy it new. So I think that eliminates a certain portion of the consuming public, but. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to it's not like they have a Weber Ranch kettle forum that you can go to and, as you say, glean information at will.
No, they didn't. Yeah, I agree with you. That's probably the thing. They're just so far in between. You know what that'd be great for? It'd be great for flipping a lot of darn burgers and hot dogs, I think. But you know what?
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned Chris. Now, he's co-author with John Willingham, right?
John Willoughby.
Or Willoughby, I'm sorry. Yeah. John's coming up to the Northwest here next month and doing a class. That'd be a good excuse to go.
Don't need an excuse. Just sign up.
Darn right, huh?
There you go. All right, Bob. I appreciate you calling in tonight.
Oh, yes, thank you. I do too, Greg.
Take care.
I appreciate the show.
No problem. Care. That's Bob from Gold Bar, Washington. Contender for the Gas Watch. The Centralites coming out in fashion. There were a couple calls that were looking to get in. So I apologize if I missed you. Feel free to call back. Again, number if you're looking to get in and run with the potential of winning the Gas Watch giveaway, which is a little gauge that goes on your liquid propane tank right into the distributor head. As you can tell, I'm also a mechanic in my spare time. I'm a mechanic. Basically, you put it on and you turn on your gas, and there's pressure from the tank, and it'll make the little peg thingy move, and there you go. These things can be found. I'm sure you've seen, if you're any type of grilling or barbecue person, you've seen these in Home Depots. I think I actually saw, did I see these in like Giant Eagle in the grocery stores? They're $20 retail, and I know I got my father one for, maybe it was Christmas, could have been Father's Day last year, but I always get him the cool gadgets, and then he's like the guinea pig. If he likes them, he says he likes them, and then I know I can get one for me later on. If he doesn't really ever mention it again, I can pretty much chalk that up to not a great idea present, but probably not a great functional gift present, if you will. So there you go. So as I was saying before we had the rash of calls, Drew Keenan next week to talk about the Bubba Keg Again, my mom live in studio here at the Palatial Barbecue Central Studios to do her monthly recipes. We'll do the appetizer, the main course, and, of course, the dessert. My dad will be sitting in as well, and potentially Harry the Horse. And I don't know how, actually, I've met him out at the track, and there's been, 50 other thousand people there. So you're safe in the general population, but I don't know if Harry is kind of an unsavory character one-on-one here in the Barbecue Central Studios or not. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. Let's go to area code 705. Name and where you're calling from.
Dale Demovsky, calling from Barrie, Ontario, Canada.
Diva Q! Calling the Barbecue Central show. Diva, what's up tonight?
Not much, actually. We just got the trailer in the driveway. We're going to start packing it tomorrow. Got a couple of competitions coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a doubleheader on the 23rd. We're going to compete in Canada, and we're going to compete in New York at the same weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just reading on one of the best barbecue forums ever, thebarbecuecentral.com. Go there for all your barbecue and grilling information. This is quite an undertaking. It's almost tantamount to you doing the Jack and then just kind of making your way over to the best of the best the following weekend. But this is probably almost even more intense, same weekend.
Yeah, this is it's 6.5 hours from our house to Ottawa, and then it's 7 hours down to New York. But I really want to do them both, and we took a look at it, and we figure we'll leave right after turning from Ottawa, and we'll drive straight down. The people down at Rock City Rib Fest, Brian, Good Smoke Barbecue, they are gracious enough to make sure that everybody's there at 10 o'clock when we are supposed to pull in. Between 10 and midnight, depending on how the border goes.
Right.
To have somebody there for meat inspection. Honcho, God bless him. He's doing the Town of Wheatfield competition, Smoking Eagles. Him and Karen have sent us a nice little email saying, we'll be there at 10 o'clock to help you unload if you need help. So we're getting lots of help from all of our barbecue friends to make this little doubleheader weekend happen. So it's fantastic.
Now, as somebody who has competed in Canada, you've obviously competed down here in the States. You've done you've ruled Canada. You've done very well down here in the States as well. Looking at this weekend coming up and competing in the same weekend, is there a possibility that you will win both? What's the percentage of that happening, do you think, realistically?
I'd say about 20%.
20%?
I don't see it happening.
Now, what's the percentage of you winning one or the other?
I think I stand a good shot in Ottawa. Unfortunately, there's some other good teams that are in the way. There's, Canadians. You know what? We have a very long winter up here. It's a lot of time to practice.
Right.
And we're very determined. So I know that there is such an incredible pool of talent up in Canada for barbecuers that it just gets tougher and tougher. There are fantastic teams up here, and if it wasn't for distance, we'd be at a lot more KCBS competitions. We'd be at a lot more FBA competitions. I know I want to get out west and do some of those competitions as well. So unfortunately for us, it's just a matter of distance. It's not for a matter of drive and wanting determination. It's distance and, of course, the all-governing factor of money to get there. So.
Sure. And it's got to be a little bit more palatable this time around than it was last year in regards to transportation expense.
Oh, the gas is so much better this year. Holy smokes! This is for us. It's a huge improvement over last year. We really appreciate those gas prices when it comes to like a weekend that we're coming up to, and it's 14 or so hours round trip. That's a significant amount of gas. We're contemplating doing a couple other more southern state ones towards the end of August, and we're just kind of weighing some options right now. So trying to figure out where we want to go is a little more palatable with the gas prices as they are.
Now, once again, for the Canadian and the American teams that want to keep track and mark out to you this weekend, where will you be competition-wise?
This weekend I'm nowhere, actually. I'm doing a demo for Traeger Canada, actually, at Ontario Gas Barbecue. My first one coming up is May 23rd, and that'll be on Ottawa, Ontario. They can just check our competition schedule at divaq.ca or our blog, divaqbarbecue.blogspot.com. I try to update that quite frequently with some of the sauces that I get given or books I get sent. Or, this week I'm going to work on some planks that were sent to me by a manufacturer that wants us to try them out. So we're always trying to keep up with new products and trying different things.
All right, Danielle, thanks for calling in tonight, and good luck with everything you have coming up.
Thanks very much. All the best.
All right, take care. It's Danielle, Diva Q, Pitmaster, taking Canada by storm, trying to take the United States in a chokehold as well. So congratulations on all of her success, and good luck to her in the competitions that she has coming up. Man, I can't imagine. I mean, it's got to be balls to the wall enough to put together just one competition weekend in whatever country you're in, and then let alone now having to pack up, probably not even waiting for awards from one competition, and just hitting the road, and then pulling in at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or midnight, and starting yet another competition that day, that evening, potentially early the next morning. That is ridiculous. But if anybody can pull it off, certainly Danielle Domofsky can do it, of Diva Q. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and do like we have been for the last 3 weeks, and we'll punch up Laura Nickerson of Broad Topics. She's on after me, and here she is, the one and only. It's Laura Nickerson from Broad Topics. Laura, thanks for coming on tonight. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Greg. How you doing?
I am doing exceptionally well. What are the four broads talking about tonight?
We are talking about friends, friendships, toxic friends, good friends, bad friends, and all those dorky friends you had in high school.
Now, will you be making any mention to the fabulous TV show Friends?
It could possibly cross our tongues that we might mention that show.
And once again,
I was addicted. I love that show.
Yeah, it's somebody was just okay. So there's a player on the Houston Rockets. That's a basketball team. They're in the playoffs. And
what is that? How does that work?
I don't know, but he's from Spain. He had no idea how to speak English, but he learned most of his English from watching Friends, because he bought all of the series on DVD and he watched them all, and that's how he learned to speak English.
Well, I hope he turned out very funny then.
He's very sarcastic, because he said his favorite person was Chandler.
Yeah, I could see how that would happen.
Yeah, so it's Friends is the topic on Broad Topics tonight, and they are, of course, airing 10 o'clock Eastern. That's 7 o'clock Pacific for all you left coasters. Laura, thanks for coming on tonight, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.
Take care. Laura Nickerson. Last call of the night, area code 256, name and where you're calling from.
Phil White, Huntsville, Alabama.
Phil is the last call of the night, summing up the first edition of the Barbecue Central call-in show. Go ahead, Phil, you're on the clock.
So how's things going tonight?
More phone calls than I anticipated.
I hear you. I was really good to hear Rub finally got in contact with you. Really admire him. And David, what a gal! If you ain't had a chance to meet her, you don't know what you're missing. We got the opportunity to meet her at Douglas last year.
She is a whirlwind, a ball of energy. I mean, for somebody to do two competitions in 2 weekends, it's different going from one to one, with a week in between. But packing up after you turn in to go down to another one and start cooking, that's something else.
That says a lot. That says a lot. Hey, could I put a plug in for a competition coming up this weekend?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the best rib in the South. It's a rib cook-off taking place in Gunnersville, Alabama, at the State Park, in conjunction with the bass tournament going on down there.
All right, bass tournament. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big deal. I think they got about 25 teams signed up. Going to do an angler's choice with ribs. It's going to be a blast.
Is the Big Orange Smoker going to be competing?
The Big Orange Smoker will be there with the big black stump.
Any secret recipes you're going to be letting the competition in on tonight?
No, I don't. I don't have no secret recipes. Everything I've learned on these barbecue sites.
Well, there you go. So everybody, you are living completely transparent, so nobody should be surprised by the fact that you're going to kick their ass up and down this weekend.
I'm going to go down there and have fun. If I win, I'll just be a byproduct of having fun.
All right, you have fun, and when I start competing, I'm going to be the biggest smack talker there is, because that's part of the fun for me, smack talking. That's why I can never. Compete.
I did some smack talking last week for Whistle Stop, and it bit me in the ass.
Karma, baby.
I wasn't supposed to say that on the air, was it?
No.
It bit me in the butt.
No FCC regulations here on the internet. You're all right.
All right. Well, I did some smack talking, then it come back and got me. So
there you go.
I'm going to take a low profile.
All right. Well, good luck coming up for Best Ribs. Good luck with that. And we'll send you the Barbecue Central Karma. Hopefully you can pull it out.
All righty.
All right, Phil. Take care. It's Phil, Big Orange Smoker. You've seen him on various websites. He frequents the Barbecue Central website every once in a while, but mostly he's on the Barbecue News Forum. All right, so now I have to figure out who won tonight. We had Ron call in. We had Bob from Gold Bar call in. We had, that was Phil from Huntsville, Alabama calling in. Well, he sounds just like a Southerner, doesn't he? He's a dandy one, that guy. I think she gets a lot of stuff, but, I mean, there's just something infectious about that Danielle Demovsky Diva Q with her passion and love of barbecue. So if she's listening, I think she wins the gas gauge. Gas Watch going to Diva Q, Danielle Demovsky tonight. Also, probably not the worst idea, and of course, now that I'm just thinking about it, has nothing to do with why I would pick her, but she'll be able to actually test it out and review it on her blog as well. Not saying that the other callers don't have blogs, because I know Bob does have a very good website over there at Gold Bar Barbecue. But there's something. She's something. She's infectious. I'm not saying she's infected. I'm saying she's infectious. You know what? I missed the whole commercial break. Just jabberwockying. So I apologize. Certainly, I'm sure you have no care about that. So, congratulations to Danielle Demovsky for winning the Gas Watch, graciously donated by the people from Gas Watch. So, Danielle, if you're listening, email me your shipping information, preferably somewhere in the United States so I don't have to pay full Canadian shipping charges and classify that as some type of dangerous object or whatever. Are you going to be down so I can send it somewhere local? Just hook me up. Tell me what you know. Thanks to my guest, Rob Bagby from the Florida Barbecue Association. He's currently the president. He's also the Swamp Boys Barbecue Competition Cooking Team Pitmaster. They're currently ranked number 1 in the FBA, 62nd overall in the KTBS. Thanks to all the callers for calling in. Next week, we do have Drew Keenan from the Bubba Keg. My mom will be sitting in for a live recipe visit segment. My dad will be sitting in as well, the Air Boss. Also, potential in-studio visit from Harry the Horse. Man, that would be awesome. So we'll see if I can hook that up. A lot of great stuff coming up in future shows as well, so continue to stay tuned. If you missed the show, don't forget you can get a full lineup of podcasts at latalkradio.com. Look for the Barbecue Central show badge or click on Channel 1 up there at the top search tabs, and you can find me with a full list of archives also available on iTunes. We'll see you back here next Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Until then, this is your program host and proud U.S. American Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Forget going from site to site to get all your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber as well as a full lineup of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. You can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichland of Barbecue U fame. Check Fred out on the web at fredsmusicandbbq.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Barbecue has never been easier with the Barbecue Guru. The Barbecue Guru is a temperature control and monitor for all pits, charcoal, wood, electric, your pit. It easily attaches to any smoker or pit and gives you simple, trouble-free control of your temperatures, so you can make championship quality barbecue every time and all the time. And it's location-free. Take it anywhere. This amazing breakthrough in barbecue technology is a microprocessor-controlled draft system that uses temperature monitors and a small fan to keep your temperatures constant. The stainless steel Guru Pit Minder gives you a choice of controls from 90 to 370 degrees. So cold smoking, pepper drying, making cheese or jerky, or fabulous briskets and ribs is nothing short of effortless. The Procom 4 lets you monitor your pit from up to 600 feet away. And there's more. Check out the full line of products and accessories for the future of barbecue with new items on the way. Visit thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com. Or call 1-800-288-GURU.